Thank you for listening to Comics for Fun and Profit. This is episode 461 for comics coming out on the 20th of June. And joining me is Eric from Cowabunga. Hello, Eric.
Hello.
As you can guess, Kyle's on a vacation. He's got 2 back-to-back, so he's going to be gone for a little while. And I will muddle through without him, but we got lucky, and Eric was able to sit in on this one. So thank you for that. We've got a full show for you, but we want to kick off with some listener feedback. And first comes up from Eric Donnelly with a little correction for us. Way back in episode 451, he's catching up on old shows. And how could you be that far behind? How are we not appointment listening? But I'm going to let that slide. While catching up on old shows, I noticed you mentioned Colin Bunn was writing for Avatar. I think you may have been confusing him with Karen Gillan. This is less about correcting you and more about pointing more people towards Gillan's excellent Uber series that's nearing the end of its 2nd volume. Very underrated and overlooked. Great show, and thanks. Well, since Kyle's not here, we're going to say Kyle made that mistake, and he can't defend himself. I'm sure he got confused. I read the first couple of Uber, and I didn't stick with it, but I have heard it's good.
Yeah, I've not read it either, but we do have a couple of subscribers that get it, and they seem to enjoy it. So
it's a long runner. It's been going on for a while over there, and one of the few things still coming out from Avatar.
Yep.
My Beloved Crossed, of course, is back out again finally after a long delay. So I'm excited about that. But I like Avatar stuff, and there for a while they were my favorite small publisher. I mean, They were putting out a lot of Ennis stuff and just a really cool mix of titles, and they had tons of stuff. And now it's really kind of dried up to a real drip of not much coming out. And I don't know what they have on the horizon, really, that's to fill that slate, or if this is the plan all along. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I guess, part of the draw for Avatar comics for quite a while was actually the art style. They kind of had a slightly different house art style, very similar to how a lot of the Michael Turner books, what the heck is that company? But a lot of those books had a very specific art style as well, like Soulfire, Fathom, all of those. So one of the big draws for those Avatar books, Cross Plus 100, things like that, were people who really liked that art. Jason Burrows, right, is the one that jumped from Avatar over to Moon Knight.
Jason Burrows, Raul Cesares did a lot of stuff for Extinction Parade. Trying to think of who was with Ennis on Red Rover Charlie, but I loved that artist. That was great. There was a ton of those things, and the art was really cool. I think all European guys or something, but they had a great eye, and I really liked the style and the color, and the paper was all nice, and just really quality stuff. I hope they get back to at least some new stuff coming out periodically. So that I can get excited about it and check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Aaron Churchill says, "I promise this isn't a trolling question." That's not a great way to start, Aaron. I'm worried. What's the next key issue comic you would consider selling, but are afraid you might regret soon after it if you were to sell? There's really nothing anymore. I mean, the only thing. I guess I would sell some signed comics that weren't signed to me. They weren't personalized to me. So, there could be some cool number ones. I have stacks and stacks of comics that were signed by creators I really like over the years, and some of them took the time to personalize it to me, and sometimes they didn't because they were in a hurry, or I forgot to ask them to, or whatever, and so those mean less to me. So there's probably a couple in there from people that I would probably immediately sell, and then have a little regret, because who knows if I'll ever run across them at a con again. Mm-hmm. That's the only one I can think of. I don't know. You being in the business you're in, does that ever happen to you where something comes in and you just assume you'll get a couple more and you let it go out the door, and you kind of regret letting it go without picking it up for your own personal collection?
You know, not yet. Not yet.
There's always another train coming, right?
Right, and I think that's kind of what our mindset is, you know, if it came in once or if we found it once, we're still pretty young, we're still pretty fresh into things, that the likelihood of us being able to see it or get it again is relatively good. I mean, there's the big whales out there, like in Action 1, Detective 27, things like that. I mean, those haven't come in yet, and believe me, we'd love it if they did. But, you know, there's some books, Detective 359, that's one that came in that we had gotten it graded, and it was a pretty fairly high grade. It's a couple $1,000 book, and it was one of those ones where I didn't really want to see it go, but somebody came and bought it, and it was, that's probably the closest it was, where it's kind of like, ugh. But
remind me what that is.
First Batgirl.
That's the first Batgirl, 359.
I think it was 359, something like that.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, so we very few books come in that we really feel like we're, I guess, not going to get back.
And if you're buying a Detective 27 or an Action 1, you kind of because you're going to invest a lot of money to buy that. Most likely, you've kind of got to recoup your money. You have to sell it.
Exactly.
You can't just sit on it because you want to.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the key books that people would have potentially as grails, we've had multiple copies come through. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 Avengers 1. We've had a couple of Avengers 4, which is the first cap in the Avengers. We've had, well, we
dozens of Deadpool, dozens of Harley's First, dozens and dozens of
ASM 300. We make sure you know every time we get an ASM 300.
I get it. I see the Facebook post, and it's already it comes in. You sell it.
Yep.
Ha! Look at that.
So I mean, we get a lot of those. We've actually had 3 or 4 ASM number 1s. We've had a couple of Justice League of America number 1s. We've actually, in the last 3 months, acquired and sold 3 Iron Man number 1s. So I mean, a lot of the books that people kind of really get into. That aren't that just A+ tier key book, we've been very fortunate to have multiple copies come through. So yeah, for me, the ones that I personally tend to look for, I don't necessarily buy all of them that come in because that would be foolish of me, but I have multiple copies of New Teen Titans 44, which is the first Dick Grayson as Nightwing. And I have a couple of copies of Batman Adventures 12, which is the first Harley Quinn, just because of the time period and nostalgia and stuff like that.
When I was first starting out eBaying comics, and that was probably 6-7 years ago, I started liquidating my collection, and it was tons of fun to at the time it wasn't so much work, it didn't seem like it was so much work at the time, and then I was selling stuff just because it was fun to sell and get the cool feedback, and so I was selling collections and runs and just rebuilding them. It was easy to find stuff. So when I sold my first volume of Moon Knight, my complete first volume of Moon Knight, I thought no big deal. I mean, I could pick up most of this stuff in bins and pay less than cover or something like that. But those Stephen Pratt issues at the end are really tough to get for anywhere close to a decent price. So there's like 5 or 6 of them. And so I haven't been able to rebuild that one quickly like I thought I would. So I kind of have a little pang of regret for not having that again. I sold my complete West Coast Avengers. And, that's just, I haven't done enough diving into long boxes to find some of the missing ones there. I think I'm close to rebuilding that one, but it's fun to get the complete, but I like to get the complete, sell it, and start over.
Yeah, you enjoy the hunt more than
I used to have more time for that. I don't have as much time to dig through boxes as I used to, and so I can't as quickly bring that stuff back in. But yeah, it's selling Secret Wars 8, and with the first black costume, that was a tough one, because I just assumed I'd find tons of those, and I don't run across those as much as I thought it would. At least everybody wants a lot more than retail on those. So, yeah, there's a lot of things like that where I sold it. I made good money. I made really good money on everything. I didn't take a bath on anything. But yeah, I don't run across them like I thought I would after the fact. He goes on to say, is there a comic you sold for a great price, but soon after it sold, the price dropped, and you couldn't believe you were able to get such a great price for it? Well, there's tons of stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
especially in the moderns.
Well, that's the whole name of the game, right? Buy low, sell high.
Yeah, and that's the case for dumping the hot book.
Yep.
Yeah, it might be $100 book. But if you take 20 now and you paid $3, that's good. That's a good idea. And then sometimes stuff that I've held on to, I've held on to my Wise, the Last Men stuff. I've never sold those, and those are worth less. But around the same time as that was the Peter Panzerfaust was really, really hot, and I almost pulled the trigger on a first Peter Panzerfaust, and was several $100s at the time, and I don't think it's worth anything anymore. I don't think anybody cares anymore about that one. So there's a lot of those. If I thought about it, I could probably come up with tons of those examples of where, I sold them, they dropped, they were just, and then some that I've decided to hold on to because I thought they'd be triple digits, and they just never did do that. So I bet you don't run into that much in the comic biz because it comes in, it goes out.
Yeah, there's books that so I think everybody probably knows, but if they don't, we price our books, especially the more modern books, on eBay sold listings. That's just how we price everything. It's a global market, and if we have to sell it online, we know what we're going to get for it, so that's what we sell it for in the store. People aren't idiots. They can pull out their smartphone and look at what it's going for as well. So the ones that we price to the market that we've seen steep rises and drops were definitely New Mutants 98 after the leading up to, and then shortly after the first movie, the price really spiked, and it's come down a couple $100s since then. I mean, it remains a great book to get and sell. I mean, especially if it's in 9.4 at the lowest, but 9.6, 9.8 kind of territory. You're looking at $350, $400 for it generally, but it was topping out close to $600 for a little while there. You go to Mile High and they'll sell to you for $4,000, I'm sure, but that's a whole different pricing structure in a different market. But for a lot of the moderns, bronze especially, on up, and even Silver Age, we pretty much price through eBay sold listings, and we just follow the market trends. And it's one of those things where if somebody comes in and says, it looks like that book is selling for less on eBay, we'll go and check it out, and we'll review it with them right there on the computer. And if it is, and if they want it, we'll give them to that price that it's going for. I mean, we kind of have to follow the market. We can't set a market, so to speak. The only times that we can really set a market is if we do a store exclusive, something along that lines. Then we are the only ones with the books, so we can set the market to what we want it to be. But yeah, by and large, we're just kind of followers of the trends.
That's one I'll never sell, is the Cowabunga exclusive for Jimmy's Bastards. I have that one in a nice top loader, signed by most of the staff at Cowabunga on my trip up there. So that's one that's beautifully graffitied and on my wall, and that's one that I'll never even get rid of it.
That was a fun day. That was a really fun day.
Great day. Garth Ennis and all those guys all signed it. Employees signed it, and a couple customers signed it. It was great. I had tons of fun with that. Do you ever buy comics on eBay the same way you sell comics on eBay to get key issues or great covers, or do you just get caught up in the hype on a Wednesday and buy instead of sell? I look at eBay for stuff. Occasionally I'll think, I wonder if anybody's got any Werewolf by Night 32s, the first appearance of Moon Knight. That's kind of something I've owned multiple copies of over the years, and pick them up if I can. So I'll look for those type of keys and other keys. What I don't do is, if I miss the boat on, a Thanos 13 or something, and didn't order enough and sold them all. I don't go chasing those on eBay. It's just me. And so no, I either go to local comic shops in my area to look for them on the rack still, or I just say, oh well, I missed the boat.
Yeah, we're fairly in the same boat. We don't do a ton of buying off of eBay. We will look sometimes and just kind of see like what's up for buy it now, and the time might be expiring soon. And if there's something that we feel the customers in our shop would go for, we may do like if they have a buy it now or best offer and there's like 4 hours left on it or a day left on it, we might throw not a ridiculously lowball offer out there, but if it's a $150 book, maybe we'll throw them an offer for like $120. And sometimes they'll take it because they just need to turn it and get rid of it, and sometimes they won't, and so we'll do that from time to time, but not often. Predominantly, we get enough stuff coming in. I think this past week we had 6 collections come in, which was actually one of the more busy weeks as far as collections go.
That's pretty good, I would think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have any of the 20 or 30 long box collections. It was mostly like a long box or 2 long boxes kind of thing, but yeah, we get enough coming through the doors that it keeps us fairly busy.
Those are all from Aaron Churchill, so we want to thank you, Aaron, for taking the time to send those. He wanted to get Kyle's take on those, but alas, Kyle was out for a couple weeks, so I'll see if I can keep this, and I might run them by him and see if he wants to weigh in whenever he deigns to return.
Yeah, if he returns.
Yeah, who knows? He's down in Tennessee or Kentucky or something, tromping around. Gallenberg, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where he is. I should go rifle through his comics while he's gone.
You should.
Jason from Hawaii sends us this. I heard you might be flying solo for an episode, so I'm lending a hand, and I'm going to give you my pick of the week. It's Batman the Dark Prince Charming hardcover, book 2 of 2 by Enrico Marini. It's a bit pricey at $12.99 for 64 pages, but it's beautiful art, and I think it's well worth the price. I've heard great things about this after the fact. I didn't know what it was when it first came out. You picked this up, right?
Yes, I picked up the first and the second printing of it.
Yeah, you were telling me about it, and I really think I missed the boat on that one. It was a weird release. I didn't know enough about what was going on. Weird number of pages, weird price.
Yeah, so it's a $12.99 hardcover issue.
Yeah,
which is it. Yeah,
it's like 3 issues, 64 pages. So that's not too far out of whack.
But no, having the hardcover on it definitely adds value.
Yeah, and so I didn't really know what was going on, and now I think I really missed out on it, and it's kind of cool. I'll read it sometime digitally just to check it out, and then maybe when they collect both hardcovers in one, I can pull the trigger then.
Yeah, it's gorgeous stuff. I got the first one. It just sounded really cool. I got it. I read it. And I absolutely loved it. And then they came out with the second printing, and it had a different cover by Marini, and his artwork just really jumped off the page to me. The cover was beautiful, and I kind of said, you know what, I'm in for the whole thing on this one, because I knew it was only going to be essentially 2 issues, 2 books, however you want to look at it. So I got it. I'm hoping that they do a second print of number 2 so that I can have, the two print sets. But yeah, those are on the shelf. Those aren't going anywhere. Those are for me. It's really cool stuff. So Jason, I agree 100%.
Nice. In other news, investors are expecting Comcast's new bid for 20th Century Fox any minute now. Prior to the announcement of a deal between Disney and Fox, it was reported that one of the key reasons Fox rejected Comcast's initial bid was because the company feared the deal would fall through due to antitrust concerns. But with the approval of the AT&T and Time Warner merger, that works in Comcast's favor, and it spurred it to finalize an all-cash offer for 20th Century Fox, and which is now said to be in the advanced stages. So that means perhaps Disney's not going to acquire Fox, and therefore those of us who have surmised that, well, if Disney buys Fox, then they'll get the X-Men back and to the fold for Marvel Studios and Fantastic Four when those contracts expire. That might not be the case now. Maybe Comcast, if they get Fox, they'll keep those in place and continue to crank out those movies. So I'm not sure what this really means, except a lot of corporations gobbling each other up, and it's never going to be lower prices for us.
Yeah, and I guess there's a lot of questions around if Comcast gets this right. I mean, you got to think about Rupert Murdoch. He's, older than dirt. And At this point, what do you think he wants? Was it $84 billion or whatever in cash, or, a bunch of Mickey Mouse stock? What's he going to do with the Mickey Mouse stock, right? Nothing. So there's definite draw of straight up cash for him. Then, of course, if you're Comcast, if you get the cash bid, what do you do? What's the quickest way to realize that money back? I think the honest answer, if they looked at themselves, is to say, well, the smartest thing we can do is sell the licenses of the Marvel characters back to Marvel. We know Marvel wants them. They put in a bid for it. So why wouldn't you do that? I mean, they're not in a place to be making movies about it. I think we can all agree that, some of the earlier Fantastic Four Fox work was
Subpar, yes.
How amazing is that? We were on the same wavelength terms,
yes.
But
definitely subpar.
So, it's one of those things where it's a quick money grab back for Comcast, in my opinion, if they were to sell those licenses back, because what's Comcast really getting out of the deal is they're getting the broadcast arm, they're getting a lot of the actual revenue generating pieces of Fox, advertisements and television series, all that kind of stuff. And if that's really what they're more interested in, or I guess I should say with such a large cash offer, it seems like that's what they would be more interested in than essentially a pocket in time of superhero movies of which they have no universe built and really no infrastructure to handle it. So if I was in Comcast's shoes, I would certainly understand the purchase of Fox with the intent to sell back the Marvel characters to Disney. Now, the question I think that Disney has to ask themselves is this maybe a better move? Do we want all of the broadcast components? We're standing up our own digital streaming service. We're doing all these things. Do we really need all of the excess baggage, or is the drive really to try and get our superheroes back so we can continue to build our television and movie universes? So I think there's just a lot of questions out there, and obviously neither of us are sitting in boardrooms talking about it, but
no.
I guess for me, the ultimate end of the day is I don't know if the mouse needs to own anything more. He seems to own half of the world. Comcast is not my favorite company either, but at the end of the day, I don't care who owns Fox. I just think it would be nice if all of the Marvel superheroes were under one umbrella.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they have a better track record than anybody else. So, I mean, I guess I have to give them the edge, and so they should own their own properties again.
I mean, we know that they're going to be heading towards Annihilation, and a lot of that stuff, and there's so many tie-ins back to like Silver Surfer and those pieces that if you're going to go through to Annihilation, you want to have all of your core characters represented. So,
I mean, I think Sony's done a good job with the Spider-Man character over the years. I think they've done a good job.
We'll agree to disagree on some of that.
And Deadpool, I thought was fine. So
yes,
they've done fine with that. And I really liked Homecoming. I thought that was good, and I really enjoyed the first wave.
Homecoming was good, but a lot of the Spider-Man stuff before that, I couldn't do the Tobey Maguire stuff. Man, that was bad, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but it was early on in
whining, sniveling Spider-Man is not my cup of tea.
It was so early in superhero movies, though. It was just great to see Spider-Man swinging and shooting webs and stuff. That was really kind of groundbreaking at the time. At least
wasn't that going up against Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy?
Was it the same time period?
Maybe just shortly before, but I'm sorry, there's no comparison there.
Yeah, that's true. And then I liked almost all the X films and Wolverine movies a lot more than most people did, but I thought they were all handled well by Fox. So
they certainly cast Wolverine incredibly well. There's nothing that can be said about that. Hugh Jackman was a wonderful Wolverine.
So yeah, they haven't mishandled the properties outside of Fantastic Four. I'll give you that. I don't think they've been mishandled, but it makes sense to give them back to Marvel. I guess they've all had their shot at it. So, well, not give them back, but sell them back at a tidy profit if you can.
Of course.
Yes. So we'll see. Who knows? This merger talk has been going on for a while. We'll see what happens and what that means, if anything. Probably just another streaming service that I won't want to subscribe to. Turns out Ethan Van Sciver is exiting DC Comics after a 14-year run with the company to do some creator-owned stuff. I get it. You're an artist. You can't really do an ongoing for the big two and your own. It's really hard to be that prolific. I don't know any people that are doing that. So, yeah, you're either gonna have to shift gears, and I hope I look forward to seeing what he cranks out, and he's a good artist.
Yeah, he's a great artist. I think part of this is he's come under fire a lot over the last couple of years due to his political stance, and I think that to a certain degree that played a factor in this, whether it was him not just not wanting to have to deal with it anymore. I don't know if DC was getting sick of having some of their name kind of get thrown around and things that really were, to me, a lot of trolling as opposed to actual factual things. But regardless of that, yeah, Cyberfrog was something that he started quite a while ago. It went on hiatus. He did a lot of great work at DC, specifically in the Green Lantern realm. Did a lot of work with Jeff Johns on both Green Lantern and Flash Rebirth books. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Cyberfrog. Clearly, there's a strong following for him out there. His Indiegogo, I want to say he was looking for $8,000, and within like the first 5 or 6 days, it was up over $180,000. So
that'll take care of printing.
Yep, that should cover a few costs. So I think that there's a lot of excitement around getting Cyberfrog back and kind of letting Ethan do his thing. I mean, we all know that he went through a spurt of time where he was, having some deadline issues, and there were some things going on, I think, in his family life. He had, at that time, his son was younger, so he was trying to spend more time with him, and so there's just a lot of things going on, and now he's really committed himself to hitting deadlines. He was doing really good with his Hal Jordan book, so hopefully that carries over and can translate into some great success with Cyberfrog. I'll have to dust off my copies and reread them.
There you go. This is the first I'd ever heard of that title, so I'm not aware of it. So it's now on my radar.
It was typically found in dollar book bins. I don't know if it's going to jump in price with him restarting it. We'll see, but yeah, definitely a dollar bin book.
Okay. We have a new publisher on the horizon, AHOY Comics, AHOY.
Yeah.
And it's going to be launching with some titles in September. This is a group of editors from Vertigo, staffers from Vertigo, I don't know if they're all editors or not, that are starting this company, and we'll see where that goes. It's always nice to see a new publisher. We might get another Aftershock or Black Mask or somebody like that, or Alterna, which was a nice addition to the landscape. It's just such a tough market, guys. I hope you got a plan.
They've got some stuff going for them because Jamal Eigel's going to be working on one of these. Obviously, he's done a lot of work with DC. They've got Grant Morrison doing a backup prose entry in one of their books, and they're 40 pages for $3.99. Yeah, so I think it's in the book called The Wrong Earth, which is a 6-issue mini by... Is this Pyre? What the heck is his first name? Mr. Pyre.
I'll go with Mr. Pyre.
Tom Pyre with Jamal Eigel. So Jamal obviously has done, like I said, a ton of DC work. And then in the back of that is the Grant Morrison prose novel called HUD, Hornets Holiday in Hell, with illustrations by Rob Steen. And there's also a mock Golden Age story about Dragonfly sidekick Stinger. So there's going to be a lot more content in it. I think that was one of their big sticking points was AHOY stands for abundance, humor, originality, and yes. But part of that is getting a little more value for the dollar. with a few more pages of extra things. High Heaven is the other book, also 40 pages for $3.99. There's a backup story by Tom Pyre and Chris Giarrusso. So there's definitely, I mean, these guys, they have industry contacts, clearly, working with Vertigo. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, getting a few more pages for the dollar is not a bad thing.
Good for them, and I will sample them all. I like to check out new publishers and their work and see what they're up to. So if I usually have a pretty low bar for those first issues, I just want to check them out, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now let's talk about our previews order that's coming up.
Okay.
Kyle can't weigh in, but we'll take care of it. This will give you guys about a week before it's due for most people, and if you got a great shop like I do at Cowabunga, you got an extra week basically to get that in. So where do you want to start? You want to start at the beginning of previews with Image?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Now, I'll preface this by saying, I'm not a big specker, so I'm going to go through the books that I plan on getting, but I can call out a couple of things. Obviously, you've got your Image number ones that a lot of people tend to sample and then maybe spec a little bit on. Was there any of the Image number ones that caught your eye? I think for me it was Cold Spots.
This is the part everybody loves when they hear me flipping pages.
Don't think of it as flipping pages. Think of it as inspiration and excitement being sprinkled down upon you.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about Leviathan.
Okay.
I like John Layman a lot, and the art pages I'm looking at are really great. And this is Nick Batara doing the art, and
yes.
So having Layman, who did Chew, on another book, I enjoyed his Egret book that he did. I thought that was fine. So Eleanor and Egret, I think that was that Aftershock? Or was that Black Mask? Boom. I can't remember.
Could be wrong. But yeah, no, Nick Batara, the artist, so he's usually paired up with Jonathan Hickman.
He did the Manhattan Project, that's right.
Yep, and he also did one of my favorite little 4-issue miniseries, which is The Red Wing.
Okay, I don't even know that.
Yeah, it's a fun little 4-issue series that was... Hickman did the writing, Batara did the art, and Rachel Rosenberg did the coloring.
Cool. So you're looking at Cold Spots, though.
Yeah, I put a little question mark next to that one. I think I might give that one a little look-see.
They're going to launch this as a miniseries.
Yeah,
they're not even going to play around and say, "Oh, it's an ongoing," until it's
right.
not. So
tell me what it is right off the bat.
So Colin Bunn doing the writing and art by Mark Torres. What's this thing about? Psychological terror, the undead, and a supernatural bitter cold comes together in this spine-tingling new series. All right.
It's Colin Bunn. I mean, he's proven that he's got the chops for doing a lot of the horror noir type stuff. He's done some work, I think, over at Dynamite with Boom. He had, what was the one at Boom that was in the mental hospital? Unsound? Was that what it was? Yeah, I think it was Unsound.
Yeah.
He's got away with it, so I think I might give that one a shot.
I am not too interested in this crowded thing, something that's based, it's about apps and like bodyguards for hire and hitmen for hire or something with apps. I've kind of seen that stuff before, so I'm probably skipping that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think the next one I had was, I put a question mark next to Hey Kids Comics number 1.
Yeah, I like Howard Chaykin a lot. It's the first time I've seen him with his middle name. Howard Victor Chaykin. I've never seen him listed that way before. Maybe I haven't read enough of his stuff.
Yeah, this one kind of seemed kind of fun to me just because it talks about some of the actual things that happen in the comic book industry. They said they changed some of the names to protect the innocent and guilty, but I think we'll kind of know what it is. But yeah, a little look behind the curtain at the comics industry I think is kind of a fun idea.
For those of you still collecting Walking Dead like me, they are giving Images selling a Walking Dead short box, which is pretty sweet. Retails at $13.95, a little pricey, but it's pretty. Good way to stick all your comics in.
Right. Yeah, I think I only have two other things in Image for myself. I've been getting the Dead Hand. Really been enjoying that.
Yeah, that one's the one that didn't click with me right off the bat, but I've heard it was really good, and I kind of missed the boat on it.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying it. And then the other one is The Last Trade for Kill or Be Killed. I'm a Brubaker sucker. I will pretty much read anything that he puts out.
And you read that in trade, not single issues?
I may get both. Because my retailer gives me a good discount.
You can double dip on that.
Yeah. Very few things I will do that on, but the things I do, I'm a sucker.
Maestro's been great, by Steve Scroce. I've really liked it, and the story arc is winding down with issue 7. Always really pretty and beautiful to look at. I don't know what's going on in Paper Girls, but I'll of course be checking that out. That'll be on the Beauty 22. That'll be on my pull list. Royal City, of course, I'm going to be getting that. Skyward, I'm really enjoying. I think that's fantastic. Snot Girl's really good. And then we have cover B for Walking Dead 182. Who is that? I can't even tell. That's interesting. Oh, it's on page 81. The cover that's a 15th anniversary variant by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yep.
But I don't know who that is. Maybe Maggie? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Maggie. Yep.
All right. Well, you ready to go to Dark Horse then?
Sure. Let's do it.
Well, I'm super excited about the seeds.
Yeah.
I like David Aja a lot, or Aja, depending on how you pronounce it. And then Ann Nocenti, not a huge fan of hers, but I like David Aja enough to overlook that. We'll see. It might be great. It just might be cool to look at with really interesting art, because he does some interesting art stuff. So it's definitely one that I'm going to check out, and I'll probably get a couple.
Let's see. For me, I have a young, small child, so I'll be getting the Disney Frozen Breaking Boundaries. My daughter is a mega Elsa fan, so that's a must.
Nice.
And again, Disney farming off their young adult properties, or their kids' properties. I may pick up the Super Mario Encyclopedia. Probably not the limited edition, but maybe the regular hardcover. That was my era. Been getting Sword Daughter. I love Brian Wood. First issue was really good, so I'll probably haven't had a chance to read the second one, but I will continue getting that. What else you got? I've got, I think, one or two more things.
Well, Harrow County's finished up, so those final hardcovers and trades are out. Resident Alien's already finished, so there's not much else that I read in Dark Horse, really. Everything's kind of finished, wrapped up. Black Hammer is really the only thing left. That's something that I go to each and every month.
Yeah, so the couple of things kind of along that line are Dr. Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrow's trade paperback. I haven't been getting it in singles, but I have been getting all of the Lemire work that ties into the Black Hammer world. I've been getting them in trade, so I'll be picking that up. World of Tanks Citadel 4 of 5 by Ennis. I'll be obviously getting that. And then there's a kid's book where, I don't know if folks have listened or do listen to John's comic book page. I did a little entry on it, but Conspiracy of Ravens. Probably more for my wife and my daughter, but similar to Harry Potter, it kind of has a magical bent to it, kind of geared towards the upper middle school to high school age, I think. Kind of female audience, but I'll read it too. But it's written by Leah Moore, who happens to be Alan Moore's daughter. And as I said on my little audio bit for John, I kind of let the whole Stephen King, Joe Hill thing pass me by, going, yeah, sure, whatever. And I just recently went back and read all of Lock and Key. It was fantastic. So I'm not going to let this one pass by. I'm going to give it a shot. And that pretty much does it for me in the old Dark Horse.
Yeah. I'm struggling a little bit in IDW as well. Not much of anything really that stands out to me.
Well, you skipped over DC, Captain.
Oh, I did, and you know why?
Because it's in its own little booklet.
Because my retailer didn't ship me a DC or Marvel insert this month.
You should have gotten 2 of them.
I did not. And I'm going to let it slide because love you guys. So, and Kyle got his, so that's all right. And he opens the box, so he gets dibs.
Which makes me wonder if he doesn't have both of them because they were together.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Books.
And he's not here for me to
You know what? I'll take the hit on that because usually I stuff them inside, but when DC came out with their own, it was too thick on the binding. I might have to find a new way to package them so somebody doesn't just pull them out and leave them on the side because I know I put 2 in there.
That's okay, man. I'm fine. I've got the electronic version.
All right. So DC.
Oh, Super
Hi-ho,
Sons. I'm so excited about Super Sons being back. I was on suicide watch there for a while when they decided to cancel it, and so I love that series. And so I'm glad to see it's back. Although this is 12 issues, it is Peter Tomasi again, so I'll take it, and I'm excited about that. I'm also really excited about Sandman Universe. I mean, I'm anxious to see what they do, and if it reclaims any of that old magic that I enjoyed back in the early Vertigo days with the original series, which I didn't really feel with Overture. And Overture was just plagued by delays and didn't quite capture me. So I'm hoping it's more of the former instead of the latter.
Yeah, it's always a roll of the dice when you've got a story by someone written by, in this case, 4 different people underneath it. And I'm hoping that, like you, I'm hoping it really pulls it together and delivers what fans want, because the Sandman universe by Gaiman it's always been one of the pocket sellers for us. We've got Sandman, we've got Why the Last Man, we've got a couple of those titles that are just fantastic Vertigo titles that everybody loves, and Sandman being one of them. And when they solicit something new, boy, we sure hope it goes well. So we at least know that the A cover by Jay Lee will be great.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going kind of down this list, and I might be jumping around as far as your pages are concerned, so just interrupt me whenever. Batman Kings of Fear number 1 is Kelly Jones, who's pretty cool on art. I like that guy. And Scott Peterson doing the writing. So,
and who's doing your variant?
I don't know who's doing my variant. I don't see that.
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh, nice.
So there's a +1 for you.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, sometimes there's too much Batman, but I don't feel that way now. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I've got prior to the DC proper stuff, I have both Pearl and Scarlet. Brian Michael Bendis and Gatos doing Pearl, and Scarlet is Bendis and Malieve. If Bendis is going to put it out, I'm going to read it. This is part of the Jinx World stuff, so
yeah, I read some
totally
Scarlet. I've read some Scarlet. Is it a reprint or is it just continuing story?
I believe that this is brand new story, just building off of what was already there.
Okay, and Pearl's new.
Pearl is all new, and it sounds like it's going to have kind of a Jessica Jones-esque type feel to it.
Wow, that's great, because we
right?
need that.
Yeah, especially So that's going to be good, and then shortly, I think the next page in the actual DC previews is Batman and the Justice League manga, Volume 1. I think
neat.
This is a really, really awesome idea. Getting typical superheroes that everybody knows into manga. It's going to be 200 pages for $12.99. It's going to be the typical manga presentation, and I'm excited about this. I'm starting to get into more and more manga, and I think this is a really cool thing. So this might be something actually too for you, Drew. I know you tried. What manga did you try? You read an issue or a book of something on your tablet that we were talking about on Slack not that long ago.
Oh, I did just read World's End Harem manga.
Yeah.
That was really good. But it was like Why the Last Man, only a manga book, and it was really good. So yeah, occasionally when I pick them up, I sample them from time to time, and sometimes they hook me. And all that Boom stuff that I'm reading is basically American.
It's just Americanized versions, like Fence and
Fence and the Dodge City and Slam. They're all like that sports manga genre, and so I like those. So it's not like I'm clamoring for new stuff to read. My pull list is 25 to 30 books a week. That keeps me really busy. But when good stuff pops up, I read it, and this is a rabbit hole that I'm scared to death to go down because it's a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah, and it's kind of tricky. Because there's like the 4 or 5 different types of manga and understanding what falls into what, and the one thing that I look at it and I have the same fears, like holy crap. But then I think about it, it's like, well, what do those people think when they come to an American comic book store and like, well, I want to read a Batman. Which one do you go with? Which one do you start, right? So it's no different. The nice thing, though, is that the page count for the $1 is quite favorable. Between $10 and $13 for 200-plus pages that's a pretty good deal. It's black and white, but still great.
And they don't have a single artist doing these books. They have like a team, right, working on them?
It depends. It depends on what it is. It depends on its release cadence cycle. So if it's a book that you have one guy that can do it and get it out, it'll have one artist and sometimes the same writer and artist. Sometimes the manga folks will do it somewhat similar to how we'll have like an OGN. They'll just do like a one book manga that either may come out serialized or it may just come out as one. And then there are the studio ones where they kind of have like a house style where we've got one master artist who teaches and coaches a couple of others and they work through it. So it really depends on the cadence and the scheduling from what I understand.
With any of these crossovers between Looney Tunes and DC, this next wave of them, is there another Tom King, Elmer Fudd in this group?
Yeah, so you've got, what are the 4? We've got Catwoman and Tweety and Sylvester, Harley Quinn and Gossamer, Daffy Duck and Joker and Lex Luthor and Porky Pig. I'm making a bet that Catwoman and Harley Quinn are going to be pretty high orders, and I'm kind of feeling like Lex Luthor and Porky Pig could be the one. I don't know.
It's Mark Russell has a chance.
Yeah, and that was a big thing for me. And then the Joker Daffy Duck is Scott Lobdell.
So no.
So, well, I don't know. I guess the Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, Harley Quinn Gossamer, I feel like that's just going to be more of the same Harley that we've known. And that to me doesn't speak of like the Bat Fudd. And then Catwoman Tweety, I like Gail Simone, but
yeah,
I'm not getting the fuzzy. So I think for me, the big one that I circled was Lex Luthor Porky Pig.
What's going on? What's going on in your hotel room? Is that a giant fan or?
Oh, I think it was the air conditioner just kicked in.
Okay.
Man, it's hot as Hades down here. Holy smokes. It's 90-degree stuff. This pasty white Wisconsinite can't handle it.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, I'm in North Carolina, getting ready to go to HeroesCon, so pardon me wilting in the heat.
HeroesCon is cool, man. That's awesome. I always wanted to go to that. I want to do that someday.
I do want to back up real quick. So there's a sleeper here, I think, potentially. So Supergirl 21. It's kind of wedged on the preview stuff. It's wedged between all of these crossover specials and a Don't Let the Penguin Drive the Batmobile hardcover. But Supergirl 21 has a tie-in to the Kryptonians wiped out by Rogol Zaar. So Rogol Zaar obviously is Bendis' new creation that came in and wiped out Krypton, which sent Superman to Earth. And I just kind of have this feeling like there might be a little bit of a demand for this book because of the tie-in aspect. So that's just me kind of reading between the lines. And I see in the solicit it has Rogol Zaar listed once, twice. So, if you aren't getting Supergirl but you're digging the Bendis stuff, maybe something worth looking at.
Now, this might be the first previews where we have double shipping books that are $3.99. Are you getting any pushback from any of your subscribers about the $3.99 for a book they got to buy twice a month now?
I think people honestly have become pretty desensitized with Marvel doing the twice a month Spider-Mans and Star Wars and Deadpool having 16 titles every 2 weeks and half of them are $9.99. I think people are kind of desensitized. The people that are buying in the store, they're not getting the large mail order discounts. So they are, their budget's their budget. They may have 15, 20 books, so it may mean they drop a book. Or if they keep the books, it's not as hard to stomach when they're buying them weekly. But for some of the mail order folks that are getting, 40, 50 books a week, you start adding $1 onto that. If you're not getting a discount, that adds a substantial amount of money over the course of the month, where, adding 40 to 50 cents per issue isn't quite as hard to stomach. So not a ton of pushback yet.
I kind of wrongly assumed that when they transitioned to $3.99, then they would go to monthly again. But it looks like they're maintaining twice a month for some of the titles. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, I think, like Batman, obviously, Detective, Flash, Green Arrow is going to stay monthly.
Wonder Woman's a surprise.
Twice.
I thought Wonder Woman would go to once a month for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. Catwoman, you got another Archer variant on number 2. Probably going to be Purdy.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, what was that?
That was
an air conditioner in your background?
That's my stupid dog. Out of control.
Let's see. Oh, for some reason I don't read Suicide Squad, but I did put a circle by it. So let me see if I can get to that solicit and see what the heck is going on and why I would have circled it. It's written by Cullen Bunn. That's why. It's an annual written by Cullen Bunn. Apprehend escaped inmate Solomon Grundy, Ragdoll, and Merlin head into the muck surrounding Belle Rev.
I have it listed as issue 45. Is it an annual?
Yeah, Suicide Squad Annual 1.
This is Rob Williams.
No, on mine it says Suicide Squad Annual 1 written by Cullen Bunn.
There you go. I'll trust
Fantastic.
you.
Yeah, I mean, then I get the Wonder Woman. My wife reads Wonder Woman, so I get the cover B's. So she gets the book, I get the cover. And then there's a few random trades here and there. The Batman Catwoman, the Wedding Album Deluxe hardcover, $17.99. Our mail order is going to be 50% off, so that's what? That's $9.
Not bad.
For that hardcover. Impulse by Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos Omnibus, that's $100, so $50. So yeah, that's what I got in DC personally.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a good selection for sure.
IDW, I'm with you. I actually only have 2 things in IDW. Big Hero 6 number 2 and My Little Pony Ponyville Mysteries. I bet you can guess who those 2 books are for.
Well, they're for you.
Of course. They're my favorites.
Of course.
Let's see. Next is Marvel.
Okay. Pull them up.
I think obviously right off the bat, FF1. Pretty much everyone that I know is gonna at least taste it and see.
Nice cash grab, $5.99 for that.
You betcha, and 10,000 covers to go with it.
Don't know why we're relaunching Punisher. What was wrong with the legacy number? I don't know, but it is Matthew Rosenberg writing still. He's been doing a good job with Punisher, and Greg Smallwood doing a cover, and I love Greg Smallwood. So, but another cash grab for a $4.99 book.
Oh, and then of course we're going to redo Infinity Wars. Gotta have that. The Infinity Wars is going to have a meter exceed 300% for a Deodato premiere. If you can get that one, usually we're limited to 2 copies per store. Sometimes we can get more, but that would probably be an Infinity Wars 1. That might be one to look at getting, if you can.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at some of the variants here that might be good. A lot of remasters, 1 in 500s, 1 in 1000s. Venom First Host. Oh, go ahead.
Well, we got just a Moon Knight 198. We're only 2 from 200.
Wouldn't it suck if they renumbered when they hit 199?
Oh my goodness, I would cry. I would.
You would be outside CB's office banging your fists on the door.
The good news is that Jason Burrows is back during this arc, so that's cool. The other guy was all right, but Jason Burrows is better.
All right, so here's what I've got here. We've got a Venom First Host. And that's going to be, I think, a good one to read. And then Web of Venom Venom, which I'm really looking forward to. Did you read Venom 1?
Yes, I liked Venom 1 a lot. And this, what is it? This war comic that he's doing?
The Web of Venom Venom? I think so. Okay, so are you like me where Venom's not necessarily the most attractive character?
Yeah, it hasn't been. No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've dabbled, and it's been kind of meh. But I picked up the Venom number 1. I haven't read Venom 2 yet, but I picked up Venom 1 and was like, oh, heck yeah. The whole idea of previous Venoms and it being a war project. I think this Web of Venom Venom is basically, I don't know if it's a one-shot or if it's going to be a mini-series. I can't imagine it being an ongoing, but it's basically, I think, tying into who Eddie was talking to about, this is a military covert ops type thing.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the story of where it all came from. So I am pretty stoked about that.
Well, Donny Cates is one of my favorite writers right now. He's crushing it. Stegman's great on art, and Goran Parloff doing a cover. I mean, come on. It's pretty good combo there. So I'm all in on this one.
And for those that think, boy, that Goran Parloff name is really, really familiar, that's one of the guys that does the War Comics work with Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He knows how to capture that look and feel.
Then we have the second issue of X Classified. Any loose lips out there? Have we heard any kind of scuttlebutt on what that is yet?
Not a thing.
Man,
don't even get me started on it.
They're doing good. They're keeping it under wraps.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't know how you order it. How would you order it as a store? How would you know what to do?
It's very simple. You don't. I mean, it's actually, we've told Marvel, multiple retailers have told Marvel, if you don't give us anything, we have nothing to go on with orders, and your books cost enough as it is, we're not going to order a ton. So if somebody wants it, we're going to get it for them, and we'll get a couple copies for the shelf. And you know what? We're probably going to miss out on something big, but this is a complete shame on you move, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't care. I get it. There's going to be one retailer we know for sure, not naming any names, who is going to loose lip it out to Bleeding Stool, and it's going to be across everyone's news page, and Rich Johnson's going to get lots of clicks and whatever.
Right.
But you're only hurting people by not giving us any information. So naughty Marvel, I don't like it.
Yeah. I get it though, because you can't trust retailers.
Yeah, we're a very, very untrustworthy group. I will say Captain America number 2 has a meter exceed 150%, and it's all you can order Kirby remastered. So if some people have asked, can I get the remastered of this or that? And it's usually a 1 in 500 or 1 in 1000. This is your opportunity to get a color Kirby remastered for Captain America 2. There is a black and white remastered, I believe, but it's 1 in 100. Yeah, so the colored one, though, should be open to order. Most people would probably be able to get it, but just be aware it's out there. And then there's also a Tony Stark Iron Man 3 Mobius, same kind of thing. It's a meter exceed 150%.
And, on Donny Cates' news, don't forget about Cosmic Ghost Rider. Second issue's out. And I haven't read the first one yet because it's not out, but I'm excited about it because I really liked that character in Thanos.
Yeah, and it has a Zafino 1 in 25 and a Super Log variant. I have no clue what that is. That's open to order.
Any hype around the Edge of Spider-Geddon? Anybody care?
Some people are throwing it on their pull list, but it hasn't been a big buzz thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Plenty of Deadpool, plenty of Star Wars.
And now, you haven't seen Solo, so you don't know who Beckett is, do you?
I do know who Beckett is. I'm not a anti-spoiler person, so I'll go and read up and get the deets on stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that. Now that I've seen it, seems pretty cool.
I think the only thing I've got in the collected editions this month, personally, for myself, is the Amazing Spider-Man hardcover Red Goblin. Obviously, the tail end of Slot's run on ASM that has sold out multiple times over. $35 for the hardcover, so $17.50 after discount.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have too much. I mean, I've got little random sparse things here in the back. Do you just want to kind of go through it to save folks a little time, or
anything in Dynamite?
Nothing in Dynamite. There's anything in Dynamite?
Well, isn't there like a 25-cent Project Superpowers or something like that?
Yeah, I think there is.
Or was that last time? That was last time.
It was a 10-center. Yeah, that was last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boom, Lumberjanes. There's an OGN, so I have a Lumberjanes reader that I get stuff for, so I'm going to get her that. Then Shattered Grid, number 1.
I've never read The Boys by Garth Ennis, and the volume 1 is resolicited.
Oh, and Dynamite?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great read, honestly.
Something I've always wanted to pick up and I never got around to. That might be a good thing to pick up. It's tough, and not a lot in Dynamite that's doing anything for me. Let's see. In Boom, you already said you're doing.
Yeah, the Lumberjanes OGNs, and then the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid number 1. Those are probably the.
I'm a big fan of Matt Kent. Some of his stuff, not so much his Valiant work. Although it's been good, it just hasn't clicked with me as much as Mind Management and other things that he's done. So he's doing this Black Badge and working with Tyler Jenkins on art. So I like Tyler Jenkins as well. So I like the preview pages I'm seeing. They did the Grass Kings, which wasn't great for me, but I'm hoping this is a little better. So check out Black Badge, maybe. If those combinations of creators makes a big deal to you or rings your bell. That's probably it.
I'm really good until you get to Aftershock.
There's another Fence.
The Fence Man.
Yeah. So Aftershock, what we got there?
We got 3 new number 1s: Beyonders, Volition, and the Hot Lunch Special. The one that sticks out to me is Volition.
Beyonders is Paul Jenkins, so it's going to be weird. But sometimes good. Sometimes just weird. And Volition is Ryan Perrott with Omar Francia. Okay, very dark.
Yep.
Cover B is nice.
Yeah, it's basically a dystopian future, artificial intelligence, robots that serve humanity. They're second-class citizens. But then there's a virus that comes through that threatens all the AI. So now you've got I'm guessing part of the struggle is going to have to be to figure out, well, shoot, if all the robots that do everything are going to kick the bucket, now we're going to have to do it. But then there's kind of this savior that can come in, and sounds good to me. Yeah. I'm in.
A Hot Lunch Special by Elliot Rahal and Jorge Fornes. I like Elliot Rahal's paybacks and his take on Quantum and Woody. I thought that was good. I'm not familiar with Jorge Fornes, but this might be something I check out.
Let's see.
I really liked Walk Through Hell's first issue, so I'm, of course, going to get that Garth Ennis book.
Yep, absolutely. Hard to believe that Baby Teeth is already up to 13.
Yeah. And one of the longer runnings. I don't see a lot of the the longer running series in here anymore. I don't see Insects. I don't see.
You got an Animosity Evolution number 8. I don't know if Marguerite's put down the main Animosity line for good, or if she's just kind of going with this evolution and then she'll jump back.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But
got another new number 1 from Alterna, called Blood Realm. Writing and art by Robert Geronimo. And Exilium. That's by Ben Shabak and Salo Ferris. It's also $1.50. Gotta support the Alterna guys. Still not doing anything for you guys up there?
we have a handful of folks that get it, but it's subs only. We're not stacking them on the shelf, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'll have to look at the Emerald and selections later.
Get your guilty pleasures on.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't think I really have anything until we get to Coffin Comics. I put a question mark on one. Well, I've got to go look at what that one is while you're.
Let me get through Boundless.
Yeah, while you're catching up.
Coffin is La Muerta Retribution?
Yeah. See what that's about. I think this might have been part of a Kickstarter.
Yeah, it looks familiar. Cool cover.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Basically a woman going out to get some people, get some bads.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one. And then Drawn and Quarterly, that's my next one. So I'll go with that while you are checking ahead for your next one. So Drawn and Quarterly, I have Berlin Hardcover Complete Edition. Takes place in late 1920s through early 1930s Germany. Basically fictional characters in a non-fictional setting with non-fictional historical happenings. So it takes place in Germany kind of between World War I and World War II. Talks about some of the unrest that was going on, hyperinflation, famine, things like that led to Adolf Hitler's rise to power. There was that restructuring of the government that created the Weimar Republic, and some of the components that the government had put in place as ways to hopefully help actually are what Hitler used to hurt and kind of take supreme control over everything. So I'm totally down with that. And I'm getting the complete one because I think it's 40 or 50 bucks. It's $50 before discount, or you can get the 3 trades that make it up for like 75. So seemed like a no-brainer to me.
You like historical comics?
I do. I'm a history guy, especially World War II. More in the Pacific than in Europe, but I definitely enjoy learning more about kind of history. So that's a big thing for me. And I also, I don't know, I've really been on a European kick lately between stuff that Titan's been publishing and Lion Forge. They've kind of had some international things, and I'm really kind of digging on the European flair. So,
well, I will give a shout out to Stabbity Bunny number 7. Since Kyle's not here, we've been enjoying that series and been flipping each and every issue. So why should it stop now? And it's got a cool yin yang cover on the cover of it. It's neat. Really cool kind of anthology series. It's pretty cool. and not one that I embraced early on, if you'll recall.
That's right. Did you ever end up eating that hat?
I did. It was yummy. A lot of hot
Was
sauce.
it?
A lot of hot sauce.
Okay. High fiber.
Now, we've got a new one from Titan called The Raid. And this is a 4-issue series, and it's written by Ollie Masters. Ollie Masters is the guy that did The Kitchen. I was a big fan of The Kitchen when it came out, I think, on Vertigo not so long ago, and it's been optioned. And it's going to be a series or a movie or something. So this is one that you might want to hop on. If he's going to continue to crank out IP, you want to get in on the ground floor, and I think this is one that might be worth checking out. A lot of pages to check out in here over on page 380 and 381, but it's The Raid from Titan, and it looks pretty darn good.
Very cool. I'm going to backtrack just a bit to Red 5 Comics.
Please do.
Red 5 Comics put out Chasing Hitler mini. I think it was 4 issues, and now they've got this Riptide 4-issue miniseries, 104. I think the idea here is, again, we're doing kind of historical-esque things that have a strange take. So the whole Chasing Hitler was Hitler escaping to Central or South America, which...
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I also like the Hunting Hitler... I think it's on History Channel.
Okay.
They have the Hunting Hitler thing. I really like that. Again, World War II history. But anyway, so the new one that they got is Riptide #1. The cover of the book looks strikingly like the Titanic, but basically it's the idea is there's kind of a gravitational force that is kind of caused by some object, and the seawater rolls back hundreds of miles, kind of extreme low tide, so to speak. There's a girl that's on a cruise liner and a couple other passengers, and the cruise liner obviously doesn't have water, so there's something, it's a doomed ship, but they find themselves stranded in an alien landscape once hidden under the waves. So
that sounds cool.
It'll be kind of a fun one. Yeah. What else?
Looks like Titan's publishing a lot of these hard case crime imprint books now as trades instead of single issues. It's kind of a bummer. Yep. They've been good, though. I've enjoyed them in single issues. So,
well, they do have one going on in singles. It's Mike Hammer. It's not going to be on the 3rd issue. That'll be a great one. So yeah, if you're a hard case crime, Mike Hammer. And I actually got kind of a little snippet from the Titan Comics folks at C2E2, and they said if you like Normandy Gold, Mike Hammer, I guess, is another one right along in line. And
cool.
The guy that I was talking to actually thought he liked it a little bit better.
I sampled The Prisoner, that first issue, and
yeah, how was that?
It was really great. I really liked it. I had never seen much of that old television series that was like in reruns.
Yeah.
But this, so I just kind of went in cold, not really knowing what was going on, and I really liked that setup of the first issue. So I'm looking forward to more of this. And it does have the first volumes out in trade. Nice art, good story. It sucked me in for that first issue, so
cool.
It worked for me.
Cool. Yeah, I think the last thing that I have is in the manga section for me.
Go ahead.
I don't know. All right, so in Viz Media, we've got Black Torch #1, Volume 1. It sounds like a really fun manga. I've gotten into things like Death Note was one, and I think it's kind of along the same tone, same lines. They've kind of got it in the margin that you might like it, but it's this guy who basically his whole life has been able to talk to animals, and he ends up picking up a cat, and this cat takes him to kind of a magical realm, and ends up being a war going on between ninjas and demons. So this kid finds himself kind of right in the middle of that. It sounds good to me. I don't know. I really liked at least the first 2/3 of Death Note, so I'm going to give that one a shot. But I think that's it. That's pretty much what I've got personally.
Yeah. it's good stuff. Lots of stuff in there. I've just cracked it. I'm not complete with my order yet. So I have some more research to do, but there's a lot of possibilities there, and we hope that's helped a little bit with you guys putting your orders together. And don't forget, if you think it's gonna spike, get a couple copies.
That's right.
Let's shoot over to an FOC. You want to do an FOC?
Yeah, we can do a quick hit through the FOC.
Pop that up. So that was what we just did, was the previews of items that are, what is it? This is June previews. So that means they'll be coming out August.
Yep.
Right? Mostly, or August, September, probably
August, September.
September, mostly August, I think. So now we're looking at items that are FOCing in a couple of weeks, and they'll be releasing in early July, mostly.
Right.
Mostly these are July 11th releases. Some a little later, but
correct.
So this is your last crack at adding some early July order items to your order.
So yeah, basically what I've got based on sales in the store, what's been flying off the shelves and people have been asking for, would be Flash. The Flash number 50 variant is absolutely gorgeous. The Matina variants have been flying off the shelf, so that's going to be one. Hawkman 2 variant, again, this is a Stepan Sage variant. The first one seemed to gain a little bit of heat. That was a big one. And then Suicide Squad 40, what did I say, 44? Is that what it is? Suicide Squad 44 variant, again, Francesco Mattina, flying off the shelves every print that comes out. So I would, from the DC variants, those are the ones that I'm seeing as items not to miss.
Now, before you go too far, I did want to touch on the She Could Fly from Dark Horse.
Yeah,
which is the creator and showrunner of *Halt and Catch Fire*. And if you've seen that show and love it like I do, I'm willing to definitely check out how this guy writes for comics, because it's got a crisp look to the cover by Martin Marazzo, but the guy's name is Christopher Cantwell, and he was showrunner on *Halt and Catch Fire*. So I think that's definitely you want to check that out. And also, it's a Karen Berger Books imprint, and she has a long history of good selections in the Vertigo line back in the day. So I think that's one that you should definitely pick up and check out.
Yeah, that was a good catch. I completely went over it because the cover did not catch me.
Looks a little bit like the Skyward cover.
Yes, hauntingly, yes. I did also go over Detective Comics 984 variant by Mark Brooks. Very, very, very good artist. This is Batman on the roof on top of the kind of gargoyle-y hockey head. And then in the background you have a Harley Quinn in her kind of Gestures outfit with the Dancing Gestures Casino neon sign. So that's kind of a cool one. I bet you that'll go pretty quick too.
Which one was that?
Detective 984 variant. And what I've been able to piece together with DC is they're printing their variants a lot tighter to the FOC orders than they are the A covers.
Yeah.
So if you're on the fence, claim it, or else don't be upset when you can't get it.
Yeah, and this is the Brian Hill arc. This is like the second issue of the Brian Hill arc, which I really like him, so I'm all in on this. I probably missed 983, actually. I'm going to have to check and see if you can get that for me, because I like Brian Hill a lot.
Yeah.
So we should double dip on Detective cover A and B, I think.
Superman, you've got a couple of different covers. Superman 1 has a Hughes variant and a David Mack variant. The Mack one is very watercolory, and the Hughes one is very Hughes actiony. So, then there's a black and white. That's a 1 in 100 by Joe Prado and Ivan Reis.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice cover too.
Yeah, that's the main A cover, just in black and white. Anything else in DC for you, sir?
Is anything special about Wonder Woman 50? They're doing anything exciting in that issue? Doesn't look like it.
No, haven't really heard anything.
Nope, that'll do it for me for DC.
Okay. I mean, the Jenny Frison cover, but
yeah,
we all know that already.
Can't see it.
Can't see it,
although
but
it's
we
great.
know it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't really have much from an FOC standpoint, especially for spec books out of IDW.
Ever.
Yeah, about the best thing you can look at would be like your TMNT 1 in 10 Eastman covers. This one is TMNT Urban Legends. It's a 1 in 10 Eastman. Not a lot of shops get these because you have to order enough, and it's kind of a cool cover.
Can you take a look at the Weatherman second printing cover for me?
I can. However, the one thing I do want to point out before we get out of IDW is there is some buzz behind this Transformers Unicron.
Oh, okay.
There is a 1 in 25 Francavilla cover, which is an Optimus, and it's actually kind of a cool cover. So that one might get a little bit of heat. The 1 in 50 is a Petrie de Rocher, I think is how you pronounce it. But I don't know. I'm trying to pull it up here and see what it looks
doesn't look like normal Francavilla either. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Not really murky and stuff, so that's nice.
Right. Yeah, we'll talk about this one a little bit offline.
Ooh.
I got a question for you on it.
Okay.
But yeah, Weatherman #1 second print. So Weatherman we completely sold out of. It did not last through Wednesday, which is a great thing. However, you click on the link, it goes to page not found. So I don't know what the heck is up with that.
Okay. I thought it was just my copy.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It is.
I'll Google that later.
Looks like that one is broke. Diamond would never put out a broken page.
Never. Or sometimes their whole site's down.
Yes, which is great when it's 5 minutes before FOCs do.
Oh, man.
Farmhand #1 is on FOC this week. We have a pretty decent amount of pre-orders for this one, so we're kind of expecting this one to be
that should be
fairly decent.
Yeah, it's got Rob Guillory. It should sell through, go to second printing
Right.
pretty quickly, I'm guessing.
Right. And then the other #1, I think, is this Outpost Zero. That one, not quite as much interest in, so I don't know if that might be a little bit of a sneaker.
Yeah, it's Sean McKeever. I'm not a... What's his deal?
I
don't know.
You know what? I don't know.
I don't know either.
The name that's more recognizable to me is Jean-Francois Beaulieu.
Yeah.
Some good art there, but yeah. Now, next up, I'm seeing Rat Queens cover B, #10 cover B by Linsner, by Joseph Michael Linsner. So, for those that don't know, Linsner he tends to be kind of a pinup type artist. Little different style than like an Adam Hughes, but he tends to do a lot of the Dynamite covers for things like Sheena. I think he has an Elvira one. He had a couple of Betty Page covers. So that's kind of his pinup style, is more of that antique look. Rat Queens is a book that sells through really quick, and Linsner always has his own special following. So
it's got a good look to it.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a sneak as well, something to get and maybe turn and flip. And since it's open to order, you should be able to get it without too many problems.
Yeah, definitely.
What do we got going on here? We got
Look at those amazing
into Marvel.
#1s. Holy moly. Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep.
So how many did you end up bringing in on that?
Haven't placed the order yet.
Oh, yeah, because it's FOC. Duh.
Yep. The Shane Davis one, I kind of like that one. I like the colors. They pop out really nice. The John Romita Sr. cover is a good callback. Not my favorite, but not a bad one. No art for Opania. What we got, the Otley Virgin.
For all Greg Land flack he gets, I really like his art.
Ryan Alley one's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they all look nice. Yeah.
Other than that, you've got an Avengers 1/3 printing. I know you loved that book. That was one of your favorites.
Nope. Was not. Champions, though, I enjoyed that. Those are my Avengers. I'm enjoying that, even with the switch from Wade to Zub. I'm still enjoying it. I haven't.
Yeah, I think Zub is an underappreciated writer. Honestly,
by me especially, I did not appreciate him, and now I like his work on Champions. He's doing a good job.
If you ever get a chance to see him at a convention, he's one of the nicest guys to talk to. Full of energy, incredibly happy that if you express your joy over his books or want to talk about his plots and stuff, absolutely loves it.
That's cool.
We met him in San Diego and just shared, like Wayward has done, as far as an image book goes, that's kind of on the fringes. It's holds steady for us, and he was so excited, and it was at the timing when Glitter Bomb was coming out, and he's like, oh, here, take these home. And he grabbed like a stack of 15 little like giveaways for Glitter Bomb, and he signed all of them. He's like, give them away to any fans, anyone, and if you ever need more, just reach out and let me know. So
I forgot about Glitter Bomb. Yeah, I like that too.
Yep. We got X-23, number 1.
Yeah.
The 1/100 is a pretty nice cover, not going to lie.
This is not Tom Taylor, though.
It's okay.
It'll be all right, I guess.
The world will go on.
Any of those True Believers, anything key there? I don't think so.
They're main story points, but nothing like major first appearances. I don't think that's going to jump out. I don't know. I usually pick up one of each of these, just cheaper than what you're going to get them anywhere else.
Oh yeah,
so you're covered. Other than that, kind of going through the rest of the list.
Forgot Relay. Oh yeah. I think I passed on this one.
So one thing, like all of the Dynamite books, a lot of them have kind of a 10, 20, 30 or 10, 15, 20 incentives, and if anyone's ever interested in those, let me know. When we price the FOC books, or we price them out as if you were buying just that one copy. So like if you're getting a 1 in 10, I'll price out the difference of how many I have to get to the 10 to get that cover unlocked, and I only get one copy of it. But if you wanted to get something like, I want to get the 10, 20, and 25, honestly, you have to buy the 25, and that'll unlock the 20 and the 10. So I don't really charge too much extra, just enough to cover the cost of the book and then some shipping. So if you're ever interested in those and you want the whole series of them, just let me know, and I'm happy to price it out for you.
Very nice.
Oni Press has the Long Con number 1.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's basically everything to do with like a cataclysmic event outside of Comic-Con.
So I hope that helps you sleep tonight.
Maybe not.
That's the way to go. That's not. I don't know. I think that's
a little tip of the cap to John and Sam over at Comic Book Page. Knights of the Dinner Table issues 255 and 256 are here.
Were they asking whether it was still in print?
No, they were kind of commenting on how it's, for gamers, it's a really fun, I think it's magazine size magazine to get and read. Typically sold through game stores and other markets, not so much through comic shops, but it is here. So I would recommend, if you are into table gaming, board gaming, stuff like that, fantasy, It might be something to look at. And then the last thing on the list through Lionforge is actually a DreamWorks Voltron Legendary Defender. Now, Lionforge is a publisher that I've really been liking a lot of what they do.
Yes.
The cover stock is unbelievable. It's like triple thick cardstock. It's really cool. Hopefully they keep doing that. But this is a number 1, and it's a DreamWorks thing, but it's volume 3. So if you've gotten the first 2 volumes, you may want to check it out. I think that's it, though.
Okay. Now, FOC is a value added that I get for being a Cowabunga customer. So you may get that from your local comic shop, and if you do, that's great. If you don't, it's a really cool thing to get it on a Thursday, have the weekend to look it over, and then make any last-minute adjustments or up or down, really, on your orders. And you can get that if you want to be a Cowabunga customer. You want to talk a little bit more about that, and also maybe transition into a talk you're going to give, a kind of a Skype call that people can get in, and we'll link to more details later in the show notes for folks.
Yeah, so I think on this show we've probably talked a little bit more than some of the other podcasts that I've been fortunate enough to jump on about, getting into the mail order business, putting our hat in the ring. We are slowly but surely kind of building up a little bit more of a customer base. We're working on some new offerings through that. But if you are currently buying through someone like DCBS, if you're pre-ordering through really any online retailer, we do a very similar business. We are most aligned similarly to DCBS because that's where the dominant market share is, and that's kind of who our competition for the mail order component is. So we're kind of basing ourselves off of that. But basically, it's a value add that we have being the FOC piece. And I'll be honest, I even have a couple of people who don't shop through us, but asked if I would be willing to give them the FOC list that they could take to their retailer. And as much as I want you to be my customer, if you are interested in getting the FOC list, you can shoot me an email and I will add you to my mailing list and let you get that, even though you're not necessarily buying from us. That's fine. But the shop chat that Drew kind of alluded to is going to be coming up on August 22nd at 8 p.m. Central. It's going to be done through Slack. Or, sorry, not Slack. It's going to be done through Skype. I have too many of these mass communication portals. But it'll be done through Skype. I will put some more detail out there. We're going to kind of use the comic book page forum as the container for communication for it, so that people are all going to one place instead of all over. But it's an opportunity for anyone who wants to jump on to ask me questions. And James may be on there, probably not, because our schedules in the new store have been just so busy. But I'm going to try and peel him away and get him on. But basically what this chat is it's going to go for at least an hour. But as everybody knows, I mean, here we are, an hour and 20 minutes into this already, and it's just you and I. I mean, we tend to talk a lot. But I want this to be an opportunity for anyone who has questions about why do we get into the mail order business, what's our, if they have specific questions about our store, about the business in general that haven't been answered through other means. And also I find that when you have a conversation with other people that are asking questions, it can foster more. So it sounds like we're going to have at least 5 or 6 people on already, and I just want this to be open to whoever wants to join. So if any of you out there would like to, join in with this, either shoot me an email, jump onto the comic book page forum. I think, Drew, you might try and link it to this podcast so people can find it. Or, you can ping either the Cowabunga Comics or the Comics for Fun and Profit Facebook pages, and I'm sure that we'll get you the information.
Send us an email. Yeah, we'll get that information to Eric so he can get you hooked up. Yeah, it's not a problem.
Yeah. It's open to everyone.
And, if you have... I don't want to take business away from another LCS, but I've had crappy LCSs in my life that I've given my hard-earned money to, and sometimes didn't get my comics that I ordered, and it's always been a frustration-filled experience, and it doesn't have to be that way. So if you're happy, stay where you are. That's cool. That's awesome. But if you're looking... let me make one more play, because there's one more value add that is pretty cool. Because if you follow them on Facebook, you see when they bring their collections in, they pull some of those key books out and throw them up on their Facebook page. So you jump on one of those, like, let me say an ASM 300 that they get in, and you can strike a deal with Eric And if you're getting stuff through FOC, if you're getting stuff through your order, you buy that key issue, they'll package that and put that right in that box, and you don't even have to pay shipping on it. It's a fantastic deal. So you're also keyed into their store as well, and he gets collections each and every week in, sometimes half a dozen in a week. He'll get a collection in, so there's some great stuff coming in there, and they post a lot of that stuff on their Facebook page to share that. So you have access to that as well. So there's a lot of really cool things that you don't get with other online retailers, and the kind of volume that they're doing and the cool stuff that they're doing up there in Wisconsin, you might not get from your small shop. If you're in LA, you might see a lot of this stuff. But for me, I have small shops that don't really work on this scale. So I have a little window into that through Cowabunga. So it's really been a cool angle that I never thought I'd have an opportunity to take part in. And so the combination of fantastic customer service, deep discounts on your monthly previews order, access to FOC discounts, all the cool 1 in 25 deals, 1 in 50 variant tiers, stuff that most other stores don't really share how and work with you on that stuff. So it's really been cool and an exciting thing. So I think it's a really cool opportunity for you guys. If you have questions for Eric, hop on that August call if you can, and we'll get you hooked up with him. You can contact me through any of the ways that you contact Comics for Fun and Profit, and we'll be sure to hook you up that way.
My inbox is always open. I try and respond to everybody within 24 hours. The only times I wouldn't is if I've got either some sort of illness happening or family concerns, but that is few and far between. I try and get back as quickly as possible. I know that there's times where I'll miss a book sending it out, or we have damages and people are like, hey, what's going on with this? And I try and get back to them within an hour or two, because I know, hey, everybody is jonesing for their fix, and I want everybody to know where it is. And we figure that everybody's going to be prone to making mistakes, right? It's a human-based industry at the end of the day, and we're not immune to that. But the least we can do is make it right as soon as possible, and at least be open and transparent about what's going on. I mean, that's to me, that's the way you run a business. So
we appreciate that. Before we head over into the sneak peek, you've been open in the new location for a little over a month now. How's it going?
It is fantastic. We have about 3.5 times the space. Events are getting bigger. We're getting more and more product out onto the floor. We actually had to contract out to one of our carpenter friends to start building some additional back issue bins. We have
I
think we've got 55,000 books out right now, and about another 60,000 in the back.
Wow.
We know we're not going to get all of them out there, because some of them are kind of our extra dollar books that we already have copies of out in the dollar book bins, and we're just going to take those other extra ones to shows with us to kind of have as table filler and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's been great. It's been exciting. We've gotten a lot of additional customers. We are now kind of firmly ensconced in fast food heaven of Oconomowoc, between a Taco Bell and Arby's, a George Webb, which is a kind of like a Tim Hortons, and McDonald's is just down the road. So I mean, we're getting a ton of people that are eating and looking over, going, oh, let's check that out. We know that the restaurants around us are profiting. They're enjoying it. So, but no, it's been great. We have our own parking lot. A lot of great comments from people. The store layout is fantastic because the gaming space is out of the sales floor, whereas before we kind of had to have tables in amongst the product, which everybody was okay with, but it does get to be a little bit of a burden at times. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
That's awesome. How does so 55,000 back issues out? You didn't have that many at the other store, did you?
No, we usually had about 30. So we've already almost doubled what's out.
And you're expanding again.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
As much as we can get out, we've got plenty of floor space. Oh, we've also almost tripled the amount of trades, hardcovers, manga, used trades. We also have starting to get in some used sci-fi novels, things like that. So we're expanding our collected editions, starting to bring in a few more higher-end statues, maquettes, figures, things like that. So, yeah.
Fantastic. I got to make another trek up.
You betcha.
It's a long drive, man. I'm going to have to get a nice cheap flight to Madison.
There you go. I don't know if you've got Frontier down there, but they're doing some crazy cheap flights now. So.
Okay. I'll have to look into that, man. I got to see the new place up front in person for myself. Now, before we got one more thing, we've got to do our sneak peek. And this is going to be over at Previews World. We're going to go to June 20th and start where we start now, which is Image.
Image.
Yeah. We got the final issue of Beef, which has been a really great series by Richard Starkings, who did a long, long run on Elephant Men. And I really like this. It says a lot about, where we get our food, and it's been really an interesting exploration of that. My cat is eating my comic. Stop it! Stop it! Quit it! I will kill you. You are worth less than that comic. Stupid cat. Oh my goodness. It was actually clawing my Walking Dead comic. That's not good for resale value. Sorry about that. Let's see what else is going on in Image.
There's a lot of ongoing stuff. I'm not seeing a lot of number ones to get down to Shanghai Red number 1.
And that has a Tyler Boss B cover.
Which is a pretty striking cover. Even though it's really just 3 colors, but yeah.
Yeah, and he did some great work on 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank with Rosenberg, and so I'm kind of chasing some of his stuff that he does. I really like him, and got a chance to hang out with him at C2E2, and he's a good dude. So anything he does, I kind of perk up and take a look at.
I'm pretty excited. Southern Bastards Volume 4. This one I get in trades. I don't get in single issues, just because the cadence has been so on and off due to Aaron being busy. Latour had, I think his father was dealing with some health issues, and he wanted to take some time to be with him. So
yeah, it was tough, and I'm not sure Aaron's really spread thin over at Marvel. So yeah, I think Latour's doing a lot of the yeoman work over there now, and so it doesn't come out as often, but when it does, it's great.
I think that's really all I've got in Image.
Anything in Dark Horse? I'm going to let this cat out. Go ahead and take over. I'll be right back.
In Dark Horse, I think the biggest thing is the Black Hammer universe. We got Black Hammer Age of Doom number 3. These books have been, a steady seller. So for anyone who is into the Black Hammer stuff, just be aware. And then there is also a Michael Cho variant cover, kind of in his standard, typical Michael Cho color palette and style. So we've got that, and I think that is about it for Dark Horse.
Is he any relation to Frank?
I do not believe so.
Okay. Different shows.
Different shows. It's like the Smiths. I have a feeling there might be a few different show families.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Although I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I've never asked them, either of them, in person, although they don't really look alike.
Are they both Asian?
Anyways. I think they're both kind of like Asian American,
okay.
Asian Western, could be. Anyways, So, IDW.
Yeah, IDW. I might pick up that Orphan Black number 1 for $1. It's been a long time since I've checked out an Orphan Black, and I think that's the one that was in a loot crate a long time ago and sold like 500,000 copies.
Yeah.
And Diamond used to report them that way, and then they stopped.
Yep. And then Loot Crate has slowly been dwindling a little bit.
I wondered what their subscriber base is now. It was up to 250,000 or so, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah, I think similar to streaming services, there's just so many of those things now that people are kind of picking and choosing.
Yeah.
Can't blame them.
I've really enjoyed Punk's Not Dead. This has been a fun series, and one that I would like to continue to support. So whoever David Barnett is, and I never read his stuff before, but it's part of that Black Crown imprint over at IDW, and it's really good.
DC.
your
Do
wheelhouse.
we really need to go farther than Batman 49 Art Germ variant with Batcat on the cover?
Wow.
Ugh.
Wow. That's really nice.
Uh-huh.
That's really nice.
This Art Germ guy, he's got a future.
I'm telling you, he doesn't have to do anything. He can just do covers forever.
It's pretty much what he does now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful, beautiful cover. And then, of course, we go down a little bit farther to Jason's pick, which is the Dark Prince Charming Book 2. Really great cover.
Wow, that's nice. I kicking myself.
Let's see. What else we got? Anything else good coming up? Got the standard fare of the Frank Cho Harley Quinn variant. Mm-hmm. Her and her wiener dog. Oh, golly. Let's see what else. Yeah, not a whole lot, actually. It's a fairly light week for DC. They've got the Golden Age Omnibus hardcover volume 5, which I've been getting all those because I'm a glutton for having to buy new IKEA furniture, apparently. Omnibus are not friends with wooden shelves. I have to get some concrete ones.
Ready for Marvel?
Let's do it. So, ASM 801.
Final slot.
Might be something important about this book. I don't know.
Yeah, something's going to be in here. I just, I was, he had a run there where I was like, I'm just sick of Slott. But now, I don't want him to go. he's
I think
really
there was a little bit
it.
of a rut. Yeah. I hate to say it, but I mean, he was doing Silver Surfer, and I was loving that. And I don't know if that was taking a little bit of his attention, if that's what he used to kind of recharge the batteries for this final push. I'm not sure, but we can't keep this stuff on the shelves.
It's really good.
We've got the Doctor Strange by Donny Cates trade volume 1. I know you were in on that.
Oh yeah, I love it.
You liked it.
Now they got this Mark Waid guy. Who's he?
Right? Used to be Hack. No.
Yeah.
Mark's still quite good. We do have an Infinity Countdown Black Widow #1. Mike Del Mundo Young Guns variant. These kind of ebb and flow. Just looking at this cover, I don't think it's going to be quite as good as the Young Gun. I think it was a Venom that we had last week.
Yeah.
That was a hot one.
The great second printing cover for Venom #1. Stegman is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is. I think I upped the order a little bit on this one just because it's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Tony Stark Iron Man. Is this the one that has like the 26 different Iron Man armor covers?
Might be.
I think it is, but I think they're under the new printings and variants thing instead of the main. I'm going to go really, really quick and check if you want to vamp.
Well, there's the X-Men Gold #30. This is the wedding issue. It's got the wedding cover. There are people that look for these wedding covers and collect those. There's been several wedding covers over the years that are kind of stood the test of time as being cool covers. There's always usually big group shots and things like that. So this is that way as well. A lot of X-Men on the cover and a nice Phil Noto artwork on this cover, and it's nice, and it's a wedding. It's a milestone in the character's arc for how long, who knows, but before Batman marries Catwoman, the X-Men are getting married, so at least a couple of them. So check that out.
Yep. And so, yes, this is the Tony Stark Iron Man big excitement issue. We have some other variants along with it, like a 1 in 25 Adi Granov. My favorite one is the Ross, which is a 1 in 50, and then there's a Virgin, but it is just awesome. Let's see if I can send it to you in the Skypes so you can see it and not have to wage war with the Previews World site. A couple of the ones that I really like. I like the AHOY variant. That one is a 1 in 100, so if you've got a good retailer that can get you that one.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
Then you've got the straight up, which should be cover price books because I think they were all open to order. You've got the Oddie armor, the black and gold armor, the classic armor, just a ton of different armor ones. So I would say probably the big ones are going to be the classic armor. You're going to have the Hulkbuster armor is going to be a big one. Trying to see, there might be one or two other ones that are good ones that we've had big orders on. The Silver Centurion one, we had some pretty good. That was a silver and red armor. The Stealth armor was a black one. That was a common one that people added to their list. Superior Iron Man, another one, and then the War Machine armor. Those are probably the big armor variants that people were going after. But all of them, there's quite a laundry list. They were all out there. There was an ordering threshold, but it should have been pretty easy for most people to meet. So just be aware. And you already hit the X-Men Gold, so
yep.
That's that.
And I have nothing in Dynamite.
Hearing good things about James Bond, the body. Pretty much all the James Bond stuff going through Dynamite's been good, but I don't think there's any flip value on it. Anything for you in Boom?
Just The Fence, number 7, and it's just a good read. Although it has kind of slowed down a little bit. We should pick up the pace, but good art, and it's a fun, light story. I like it.
Yeah. I bypassed the figure stuff. I'm down in the back half, basically, here.
Yeah.
Kind of sifting through to see if there's anything good. Not really. Oh, Golden Kamui Volume 5. That's a manga that I've been really getting into. Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast, December solicit number 5 of 5, finally coming out. This is one that Kyle's been getting. I know that because I pick his order every week.
I like the Lost City Explorers from Aftershock. This is Zach Kaplan, who did... what's he doing? Port of Earth. This is his current Image book. Good dude. Talked to him for a while at C2E2 as well. He's cool. And this looks a little Goonies-esque. I'm looking forward to it.
Down a little farther, you got Rick and Morty Presents Crumbopulous Michael number 1. I think this might just be a one-shot, but I could be wrong about that. However, pretty much anything Rick and Morty seems to be selling, so... Yeah.
May is back with a second volume. In the first issue, this is a Gene Ha written and drawn book, and it's coming from Lion Forge this time. I'm thinking the last one was IDW. The first volume was IDW. I really enjoyed that first volume, so I'm looking forward to this as well. Same characters, continuing the story, and that great Gene Ha art. But it is a second volume.
Correct. Then we've got a... I think you might have ordered this one. I'll have to go back in the records and check, but Tarna number 2, which was a September solicit.
I know I got the first issue. I don't know if I got the second one or not.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we've got that Tank Girl All-Stars number 1. That one coming out.
There's the second volume of World's End Harem graphic novel. Looking forward to that.
And that really takes us to the end.
Yes, it does.
So, all right. Well, we got to pick something.
Yeah, and you're our guest, so you can go first.
Shall I take the easy one?
Sure, if you want to.
Batman 49 variant cover.
You're going to take that art, Jerm?
By Mr. Stanley Archerm Lau. Yeah, I think that's going to be your best mover. But I'll let you pick yours, and then I might throw a second one on there. We'll see.
Well, I'm going to go with the second printing of Venom, the Stegman cover. I think that's going to have some. It's going to be a lower print run, going to have some value, and then I'll double up with the Lost City Explorers by Zach Kaplan and Aftershock.
Yeah, and I was gonna honorable mention the Venom, but I was also gonna add into mine the Iron Man, Alex Ross. Like I said, it was a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100, but yeah, I think that one's gonna be one that has some staying power on the secondary market. Just a fantastic cover.
Great. Anything else before we bug out of here?
No, I think we've given them their money's worth.
Yeah. 2 hours. Pushing 2 hours. So, Eric, thank you again for sitting in Kyle's long walkabout across the country, and appreciate that very much. We'll put as much information as we can from today's show in the show notes to help you if you want to hook up with that shop chat or get in touch with Eric. You already gave your email and stuff.
So the easiest way to get a hold of me is Eric, ERIC, at Cowabunga Comics. That's Cowabunga spelled with a K, so cowabungacomics.com. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to get a hold of me. You can shoot us a message through the Facebook page. James may collect it and send it to me, but that's fine. Or you can email Drew if you've got his on speed dial, and he can forward it to me. No problems there.
All right. Well, thank you again for listening, and as Kyle would say, see ya.